In country, James?
No. For me.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Real Screen Team. I'm Andrew Thomas. I'm here with fellow James Bond, Christopher Johnson.
Hello everyone.
And we're back with our James Bondathon.
Hallelujah.
Yep.
Thank you. And we're now finally talking about where our journey began.
Yep.
With Pierce Brosnan. Mm-hmm. And now we finally get to talk about his first, his best, and I would definitely say one of the best James Bond films ever made. Mm-hmm. GoldenEye. Why don't I get into an overview?
Okay.
GoldenEye is a 1995 spy film, the 17th in the James Bond series, and the first Bond film in the series to not utilize any story elements from the works of novelist and creator of James Bond, Ian Fleming. Though the title of the film came from Fleming's Jamaican estate where he wrote the Bond novels. Mm-hmm. GoldenEye was also the first James Bond film not produced by Albert R. Broccoli, following his stepping down from Eon Productions and replacement by his daughter Barbara Broccoli and his stepson and long-standing executive producer Michael G. Wilson. Yeah, recurring name. He's been working on this since Roger Moore. Albert was still involved as a consultant producer. As well, GoldenEye would be Albert R. Broccoli's final film project before his death in 1996. Mm-hmm. The film was directed by Martin Campbell and written by Jeffrey Kane and Bruce Fierstein, based off of a story written by Michael France. The film stars Pierce Brosnan in his first film as James Bond, replacing Timothy Dalton after his contract expiring, and leaving the role during a 6-year series hiatus. So many legal battles and hurdles had to go over involving MGM, Eon Productions. A lot of crazy stuff happened near the end of the 80s into the 90s. Alongside Sean Bean, Isabella Scorupco, Famke Jensen, Jodan Baker, Gottfried John, and Alan Cumming.
Mm-hmm. Two of which we discussed in our X-Men review.
Yes. Hey, like I said, they would end up showing up in a lot of things this year. And the synopsis. When a powerful satellite system falls into the hands of Alec Trevelyan, aka Agent 006, a former ally turned enemy, only James Bond and Russian computer programmer Natalia Simonova can save the world from an awesome space weapon that in one pulse can destroy all electronics on Earth, sending the world into complete mayhem. Mm-hmm. As Bond squares off against his former compatriot and friend, he also battles Trevelyan's stunning ally, Xenia Onatop, an assassin who uses pleasure as her ultimate weapon. Mm-hmm. A masterclass.
Yeah.
A masterclass. Oh my God, this is definitely in my top 3 favorite Bond films of all time, and I would even say in my top 5 favorite just films in general. Everything that you would want in a good film is here. It's fantastic. And Brosnan, perfect fit for this. It sucks that he had to wait so long to finally get the opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, because, I mean, as far back as the latter end of Roger Moore's run, they were already considering Brosnan, but he was still on the show Remington Steele.
Yeah.
Yeah, contractual obligations. But right place, right time, right cast, right director, right story.
Yep.
I mean, what?
Yep. Well, he'll always be one of the greatest James Bond.
Yes, and seeing as though we're bringing it up, why don't we dive a bit more into the man himself? Agent 007, James Bond, played by Pierce Brosnan. He has the perfect, to me, as we're starting to watch Dragon Ball, you've seen the fusion dance, right?
Yeah.
He's essentially the byproduct of if Sean Connery and Roger Moore did the fusion dance.
Yeah.
As he has that cool, sophisticated, debonair, but also cold, cunning, ready to take you down and not think twice about it like Sean Connery, but also being that rather witty, charming, crack a one-liner, give you a funny little eyebrow raise like Roger Moore. He has both of that. But he also does it in his own unique way. That it just works so well. You know, he truly feels like a complete package. I know some people tend to say he's like a master of... He's a jack of all trades, master of none, but I don't fully agree with that. I don't fully agree with that. Brosnan truly encapsulates everything that you would want in Bond, despite the fact that he's working off of something that doesn't have Ian Fleming's influence, which unfortunately is, you know, a bit of a handicap that he has to work around. You know, Connery, Roger Moore, George Lazenby, Timothy Dalton, they all got to utilize Ian Fleming's work in one way or another.
Yeah.
Some even one for one fully adapting the films.
Yeah.
While Pierce Brosnan, he doesn't get to have any of that in this film or really his whole run.
Yeah.
But he still has it down.
Yeah.
He gets it. I mean, your thoughts?
Yeah. I think he does really great for what he has. He does do everything 100%.
I mean, and definitely, you know, he's definitely the Bond that has no problems springing into action. I mean, we see this man essentially bungee jump off of a dam to get into a Russian base, which is quite possibly one of the best opening segments for a Bond film.
Yeah.
You know, besides the Spy Who Loved Me's opening, and I'd even say Goldfinger. You know, with Connery at the club, and then the assassins.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, we also see this man do so much to try to survive. You know, whether it's jumping to get into an airplane and try to make sure it doesn't crash so he can escape. Mastering all the various gadgets that he has. Having no qualms in going hand to hand with people. And those hands are rated E for everyone. I mean, any major things that stood out for you for Brosnan?
His lust for revenge.
Yes.
Along with him still being the ladies' man like he usually is.
Which, of course...
Which even though he gets reprimanded a lot, he still takes it in stride.
Yeah. And he, despite the fact of... we have a whole new M, which we'll get into that, still respects M, still respects the chain of command, and he does his job.
Yeah.
And as a smooth operator that he is, he gets the job done. Even when people may count him out, he gets the job done. But with talking about 007 himself, should we go into the Bond girl, the villain, or the new MI6 staff?
The new MI6 staff.
Okay. Well, with this being a new era, there are some, unfortunately, some replacements for the MI6 staff, and one that is still holding on. But why don't we start with the biggest change with M, played by Judi Dench. I already knew this woman was a fantastic actress. She truly gives everyone else who has played M a run for their money.
Yep.
She is perfect as M. She kind of has she has her own unique form of that kind of gruff that Bernard Lee had.
Yeah.
But it's like in her own unique way that, she has no qualms. She does not care. This is a job.
Yeah.
It's an important job. But she knows the risks everybody, including herself, have to go through with this. She has no qualms in having people go out and potentially die on the line of duty. And she tells Bond that, when they first sit down in her office. But at the same time, you can tell that there is a part of her that does, respect Bond. And she knows that he's the best agent they've got.
Yeah.
despite the fact that she does call him a sexist, misogynist dinosaur, a relic of the Cold War.
Mm-hmm.
But he's James Bond.
Mm-hmm.
Get used to it.
Yeah.
I mean, your thoughts on Judi Dench?
Well, at least in the first movie, in my opinion, I thought she was just cold, basically.
Which, that tends to be the thing for a lot of the actors who have played M.
Yeah.
You kind of, even Bond himself, you kind of have to be cold.
Yeah.
You're a freaking secret organization working for the government to make sure that no evil magnates, ne'er-do-wells, and supervillains are going to cause harm to your country and potentially the world. That means you're probably going to have to kill, maim,
or wish that the villain killed your operative. Talk about the man with the golden gun.
Yeah. Or potentially go out for revenge, like that, or License to Kill.
Yeah.
So, you can't necessarily get too... You can't necessarily be too nice and friendly.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have that air of...
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. You are in the way of securing a safe world.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then you look at Roger Moore. He did kill, but he didn't like killing.
Yeah.
Which there is kind of a little bit of that with Brosnan.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe with certain people, like he doesn't want to do it, but he knows he will have to.
Yeah.
While with others, he has no qualms.
Yeah.
But I really love Judi Dench's performance, and she definitely gets better and more rounded as an M as the films keep going. And even in the next era, despite the fact it's a reboot, telling a whole new story for a whole new Bond. We're going to take our time with talking about that era. But with talking about M, why don't we get into the loyal secretary herself? Miss Moneypenny, played by Samantha Bond.
Mm-hmm.
Much different Moneypenny and relationship with Bond this go around.
Is any more flirtatious?
Yeah.
In this version,
Well, there's definitely still some air of kind of what the relationship was with, like, Connery and Lois Maxwell.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, would you say Roger Moore or George Lazenby with Lois Maxwell?
Maybe George Lazenby.
Yeah. Where there is kind of that feel where if circumstances were different, maybe they would try to have a few dates, maybe try a relationship, but she knows who James is.
Mm-hmm.
She knows what this man does. So it's kind of that, busting of the chops, poking, but being a bit flirty and fresh.
Mm-hmm.
But Moneypenny, I do like Samantha Bond as Moneypenny. I mean, none of them will ever measure up to Lois Maxwell. None of them will.
Mm-hmm.
No offense. Yeah, I mean, they've always picked very good actresses to play Moneypenny.
Mm-hmm.
Lois will always be the best, but Samantha Bond really did do a good job. Though I do have to say, I miss her old desk and office.
Yeah.
I miss it. I miss it so much. We don't get to see that until halfway through Daniel Craig's run.
Yeah.
Again. But we definitely get to see more of what Moneypenny does, and, more of her relationship with Bond as the movies go along. But I think she definitely did good. And we also see the return of Bill Tanner.
Yeah.
But M's chief of staff, but this time played by Michael Kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to see, some of the other members of MI6,
Mm-hmm.
Around actively helping and doing stuff.
Yeah.
Even though apparently this version of Tanner doesn't necessarily have he doesn't have the best opinion of our new M.
Mm-hmm.
To the point that she has to give him a very cunning dressing down.
Mm-hmm.
Not in like a very like rah, 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 jarring way, but she essentially tells him off in a very smooth way.
Mm-hmm.
But Tanner actually, I do enjoy seeing Tanner, even though he doesn't necessarily do too much.
Yeah.
I mean, your thoughts?
Yeah. I pretty much agree with you. Be that you forgot that he was even in this movie.
And Michael Kitchen, apparently he was doing a lot, so there's like at least a film or two where he has to be replaced. Mm-hmm. So we get another chief mm-hmm. of staff, a deputy chief, who I actually like a little bit more, but it's still cool to see a recurring character, back and actively helping with the operation.
Yeah.
And of course, loyalty.
Yeah.
Q, played by Desmond Llewellyn.
Yeah. One of the longest
running, yes. This man has been doing this since Connery's second film, even though he wasn't named Q yet.
Yeah.
And he's still in top form. Yeah. I think he's having a little bit more fun here than he has had in some time, because Q Branch is like very vibrant mm-hmm. once again, as we're seeing everybody tinkering with stuff, explosions happening. It's awesome. Mm-hmm. And of course, he gives Bond the gadgets that he's going to need for, this movie.
Like the pen that you're holding.
Yes. Which may look like an ordinary pen, but it's actually a grenade. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Mm-hmm. We're all safe. Which comes in very handy later on.
Yeah.
The grenade pen. He, of course, has a grappling hook belt. Yeah. And I guess now it's I guess for the Bonds that have more than 2 films, you get your own unique run of cars.
Yeah.
And this era, they decide to work with BMW. As now Pierce Brosnan has the BMW 23 Roadster. Beautiful car. Beautiful car. Fantastic. Especially with the top down. I wish we had seen a little bit more of the car, but it's definitely up there with being one of the really nice looking cars. But that doesn't mean that we don't see an old faithful, as we do get to see the return of the Aston Martin DB5. As Bond, of course, has to go through his, his kind of review with a psychologist. And he just decided, why don't we just go ahead and drive in the country and mountain with the Aston Martin, and then decide to get into a race. It's great. I mean, your thoughts on the gadgets and cars?
Yeah, I thought the cars were cool. I still like the pen. That was my favorite part in the movie.
Why do I have a feeling you would definitely use that at some point?
Yeah.
But definitely great to see Q.
Yeah.
Though I do wonder what would have Bond done to his lunch?
Yeah.
He just picked up his sandwich. Just gonna pick up the man's sub like it's no big deal. He don't know where your hands have been. Just gonna be picking up someone's lunch like that.
Yeah. But now let's get to the Bond girl.
Yes. As she is, in my opinion, one of the best. Natalia Simonova, played by Isabella Scorupco.
Yep. Who gets herself into the adventure by surviving a mass killing.
Yes, as essentially there are those that are betraying their own government and stealing the GoldenEye.
Yep. She got lucky because she got to go get some coffee.
Yeah. Yeah. And thought ahead of time of making it look like she made an escape, but hide somewhere much easier.
Yeah.
Natalia, she's definitely one of the most helpful Bond girls ever. And also the fact of, despite the fact that there are definitely a couple of occasions where, well, no, there's only really one occasion that she's kind of the damsel.
Yeah.
She doesn't hinder anything.
Yeah.
She truly actively helps Bond in his endeavor, and at the same time, I feel like she kind of helps Bond find a little bit more of his humanity again.
Yeah.
Because she does point out that, yeah, Bond does act rather cold.
Yeah.
And the fact that he says in his line of work that you kind of have to.
Yeah.
But she does kind of help him, find more life in him. And at the same time, Isabella and Pierce just have incredible chemistry. Yeah. Fantastic. Their relationship isn't so much kind of like the idea that they would become like a long-standing romantic couple, But they're definitely a very nice couple that, yeah, it's like, I wouldn't mind seeing this go the distance. Plus, on top of it, Natalia is very intelligent.
Yeah.
I mean, as she works as a computer programmer and coder.
Yeah, she starts the reverse of the bomb in the own base or something like that.
Well, she works on stopping the GoldenEye from sending the pulse.
Yeah.
And actively causes it to self-destruct.
Yeah.
And she was actually able to outsmart quite possibly the smartest computer programmer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't beat that.
Yeah.
You can't beat that.
And she was also really hot too.
Yes, I mean, you have to acknowledge. You have to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Isabella Skrumko is just all the chef kisses.
Yeah.
And the fact that this woman still, all these years later, apparently found the fountain of youth, that she's barely aged.
Yeah.
And she marches to the beat of her own drum. I mean, there's so many other acting roles she could have done, but she was like, just do my own thing.
Yeah.
But I love Natalia.
Yeah.
She's definitely in my top 5 favorite Bond girls.
Yep.
Now, I guess, do we get into the Bond villain?
Yep.
As every Bond film has to have a villain, we usually run into, corrupt individuals, millionaires, leaders of terrorist organizations, people that work in governments. But for the first time, we're actually dealing with a former MI6 agent. Agent 006, Alec Trevelyan, played by Sean Bean. A round of applause for Sean Bean. I mean, this man was fantastic.
Yeah, you can feel for the villain.
Yes, as Alec Trevelyan is one of the very few Bond villains that has a justifiable reason for turning heel. This man is a Cossack. One of the various groups of people that live in Europe, mainly around Russia. They were in the middle of things during World War II and then the Cold War. And they decided to defect from Russia to help Great Britain during World War II. But they were hoping to get asylum. Great Britain was like, nah. Sent them back, and they got slaughtered. Most of them got slaughtered by their own government. And for Alec, his parents survived, but the grief of everything led to his father committing a murder-suicide. Because both he and his wife dealt with so much grief about what happened to all of their fellow people. Everything that they went through during all those terrible events. And then they felt like they did not have the right to still be here standing while others died.
Yep.
And Alec being left an orphan because of that, and because Great Britain didn't give the Cossacks asylum and sanctuary, is what drives him to do this. I mean, he talks about getting money, you know. That's just a bonus. Becoming, you know, ridiculously wealthy, you know, by the end of this, that's a bonus. He wants to destroy Great Britain. Destroy all of their records, all of their money, everything that is controlled by technology, which by this time, everything involving the government is controlled by technology. Destroy that. That would cause absolute mayhem and bedlam for Great Britain and then the world. Because if they go down as an economic power, that would affect everyone.
Yep.
That's madness. That's genius. And I don't blame Alec.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. Though it is interesting that they still did decide to bring him into the MI6 program at a young age. Which apparently that's what they do with a lot of the 00 agents. They did the same thing with Bond. As we got introduced to some Bond lore, as he got orphaned due to his parents dying in a mountain climbing accident. So they kind of bring their 00 agents in at a fairly young age and train them for years. Then they get their 00 status and their license to kill and become full-on operatives. That is crazy.
Yeah.
And plus, Alec, he's good.
Yeah.
He's really good. To the point that, you know, when we initially thought that he died during, you know, the cold open, oh no, he was smarter than that. He was able to fake out Bond in thinking that he died. Though, unfortunately, he did get scarred thanks to Bond changing the timer on those bombs.
Yeah.
I mean, your thoughts on Alec Trevelyan?
Yeah. He was really good. It was good to see John Bean get killed twice. Became a regular thing in his later life.
Is he just the go-to guy that we need someone to die in something?
Yeah.
So he just that guy.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy.
But let's talk about his cohorts.
Yes. I guess the femme fatale.
Yeah.
Yes. Starting with his first ally and his most deadly, Xenia Onatop, played by Famke Janssen.
Yeah.
It's good to see you again, Famke, and oh dear God. Yeah. This gave a run for her. This gave a run for her money as far as what is more terrifying.
Yeah.
Her as Dark Phoenix or Xenia Onatop?
Xenia Onatop.
Because this woman is an absolute sadist. She takes absolute pleasure, I mean fully on sexual pleasure from causing pain and death. And her usual method of that is suffocating someone via crushing their ribs in between her thighs.
Mm-hmm.
She just enjoys it. Just causing people to suffocate.
Mm-hmm.
Or gun them down. Gun them down with what was it? Was it a full-on machine gun or
I think, yeah.
And just mowing down all of Natalia's, co-workers and friends, at that satellite base. And by the end of it, it seems like she almost reached climax, enjoying it to the point that General Ormoff looked at her like,
Mm-hmm.
the hell is wrong with you? Yeah. I think there's a couple good clips that fully explain how we both feel about this woman and what she does in this film.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scaroused.
And
Town is scared and horny.
yeah, I think those both perfectly encapsulate everything about this woman. Because good lord.
Mm-hmm.
But she does it so well.
Yeah.
Famke, if this was a whole different film, she probably could have been a good she probably could have been a good ally.
Yeah.
She probably could have been a good Bond girl. But no, she's the perfect return of the femme fatale.
Yeah.
Different from what Grace Jones did with it.
Yeah.
She feels much more like what Fiona Volpe felt. And I felt like we needed to see something like that again.
Yeah.
I mean, your thoughts?
Yeah. She was both sexy and scary. And she did get the irony coming to her at the end.
Yeah. Oh. Poetic justice and cruel irony.
Yeah.
She always did enjoy a good squeeze.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the fact that the trees actually looked like legs.
Mm-hmm. But
Oh.
I want to talk about the other two guys. One of them doesn't really... seems to start out like the fake decoy villain. And it's just the henchman who's just there. Just to die earlier.
Ah, yes. General Artkey
Full.
Artkey Oromov.
Yeah.
Played by Godfrey John.
Yeah.
May he rest in peace. Yes, General Oromov. Apparently a long-standing thorn in the side of Great Britain and Bond, as initially we thought he killed Alec Trevelyan.
Yeah.
But no, they were working together all along.
Yeah. Even though he
As
still injured him though when he shot him. Or
not necessarily, no.
Yeah.
No. They were actually able to fully fake that.
Yeah.
It was the explosion that caused Alec's facial scarring. But apparently they had been working together for a long time, even before even before MI6 was able to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Which, one, that shows how really good Alec Trevelyan is, and also how much of a problem General Ormoff is.
Yeah.
Because he's also the leader, he's also the designated leader of the area where the GoldenEye is kept and controlled. So that gave him perfect leeway to get it, work with Alec, you know, while he's under the cover of Giannis, going by a Cossack name, and essentially get this whole operation rolling so that he can finally get his vengeance on Great Britain and get all that sweet, sweet money.
Yeah. Sadly, he goes first.
Yeah. Played himself.
Yeah.
Played himself.
But let's talk about another returning X-Men.
Yes, as seeing as though we're dealing with technology, you need a good person on the computer. And they decide to get arguably the best computer programmer in all of Russia, Boris Krishenko, played by Alan Cumming.
Yep. One of his traitor roles that he's played.
The man's bisexual. Calm down. But, oh my God. Boris is fantastic. It sucks that he ends up becoming a villain because he is so funny and charismatic.
Yep.
You know,
trying to flirt with Natalia.
Yeah, and you know, all the sex puns that he uses as answers for, you know, his computer programming, and when he's able to outsmart people on the computer, I am invincible.
Yeah.
Better luck next time, slughead. Just fantastic. Fantastic.
It's one of the most hilarious deaths.
Yeah. Yeah, he got frozen by liquid nitrogen.
Yeah.
I wonder where that is now. Is that statue of him still around somewhere?
Maybe.
Does Alan Cumming have it? These are questions that need to be answered.
Yep. And then let's talk about a guy who played a villain playing an ally.
Yeah. As, you know, from time to time we see some recurring actors.
Yeah.
Though I think this is the first time we've ever seen someone go from playing a role that was actually one of the main villains to playing a completely different role that is actually an ally.
Yeah.
And that would be Jack Wade, played by Jodan Baker. So much better use of Jodan Baker, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
I mean, no offense to his role in The Living Daylights.
Yeah.
But he really was kind of a bit of the afterthought in that film. You know, it was more of who we thought was defecting from the KGB, who turned out to be the true main villain.
Yep.
So, yeah, he was kind of put to the wayside, even though he did have a fantastic climactic battle with Timothy Dalton.
Yeah.
But Jodan Baker is so fantastic as Jack Wade. just as witty and charismatic as Brosnan and Alan Cumming.
Yeah.
Everybody just so great. Even Sean Bean
Yeah.
is also very great and witty.
And then talk about another sort of ally.
Well, we also need to acknowledge that Jack Wade
Yeah.
is here.
Yeah.
He replaced Felix.
Yeah.
After what happened in License to Kill, essentially Felix can no longer be on the field. He's either working in an office or he may have had to retire.
Yeah.
I mean, the man lost a leg and nearly lost an arm by being mauled by a shark.
And lost his wife, his bride.
Yeah, who may have been horribly violated and then murdered.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But you were saying?
Yeah. But then let's talk about the sort of ally that Bond asked for help.
Ah, yes. Someone who he also had a difficult run-in with, but would end up actually becoming a very good ally in the end. Valentin Dmitrovich Zukovsky, played by Robbie Coltrane.
Yeah.
May he rest in peace as well. I really enjoy Zukovsky.
Yep.
He seems like that type of individual that, you know, he does some shady stuff, but if you need knowledge and information or help, he's the guy to go to.
Yep.
And Robbie Coltrane just plays it so well. And I love the whole idea that the reason why he has his cane, which comes in handy later, is because he has a limp.
Yeah.
And the reason why he has that limp, Bond shot him in the leg their last run-in. I love that.
Here you're for information for one scene.
Yeah, but it's important information.
He plays a bigger role 2 movies later.
Yes. Yes, very much so.
Yeah. I think that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone did fantastic.
Yep.
But while we get a bit more into the good, I mean, the plot is fantastic. It's very much more unique this time. I can't really compare it to any other plots. This really is much more unique, as you have a villain using tech to destroy the government, all just for revenge. Not for like any political power or anything else. No, he wants them to suffer like how his parents and his fellow country people suffered. And Bond having to come to grips with the fact of one of his compatriots, one of his best friends, would do this. One, fake his own death, and 2, decide to destroy the country that he swore to protect.
Yeah.
I mean, that has to be rough.
Yeah.
And, of course, all the acting.
Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan, without question. Sean Bean,
Yeah.
without question. Famke Janssen, again, I did not know that she could play someone so terrifying but yet so sexy at the same time. Isabella Skrumko, just fantastic. And Alan Cumming.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole cast is fantastic, but those are the real standouts.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense to Godfrey John or Jodan Baker.
Yeah.
Or Judi Dench. The action.
Yeah.
From the cold open mission with the bungee jump into the Russian base, you know, the whole gunfight between Bond and initially Bond and Alec versus all the Russian soldiers, and then it's just Bond trying to get out the base, and then he has to he essentially has to go and this is where he had to motorcycle jump, get to the plane, get into it, and then steer it back into course. My God. When Bond and Natalia were running through, I think it was a library, and had to use the grappling hook belt while trying to get away from all of the hired guns for Alec.
Yeah.
The freaking tank chase. Oh. So many cans of Perrier were destroyed that day. I know my mom and grandmom felt bad about that, but it needed to be done as a tank needed to chase General Ormov, who had captured Natalia. And then the final fight between Bond and Alec.
Yeah.
On top of that satellite in Cuba. Oh, God, that was good. That measures up to like the fights with Red Grant, Odd Job, and Jaws, as far as great final fights. That, as Bond was truly facing off against an equal. And you really did wonder how this was going to play out. Because there were a couple of times Alec may have had Bond's number, but in the end, able to outsmart him. And then, of course, him giving that what we said in the cold open, which played back to what they said at the beginning before they started their mission. For King and Country, James. For King and Country. But no. For King and Country, James? No. For me. Ah!
Yeah.
Poor Sean Bean, he died 3 times.
Yeah.
A fake death and a double death. Of course, we went into the gadgets and the cars. We also had a couple of cameos.
Yes.
Of course, Serena Gordon as Caroline the psychologist, who was giving James his review.
Yeah.
You know, while he had his race against Xenia Onatopp in her car. And just out of nowhere in Zarkovsky's I guess bar, Minnie Driver as Irina, one of his mistresses, as she's playing a Russian woman who can't necessarily sing that well. Singing a very well-known country song.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. But Minnie can actually sing, which is weird. But hey, it's fun to see stuff like that. Also, the theme song.
Mm-hmm.
The theme song of this whole film. GoldenEye. Sung fantastically by Tina Turner. And written by half of, or 2/4 of U2, Bono, and The Edge.
Mm-hmm.
Such a fantastic song. Oh man, it has a bit of that motif of Goldfinger, but has that much more like, you know, swinging jazzy feel.
Mm-hmm.
And it just moves so well with Tina Turner's voice. Just fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your thoughts on the theme song?
It was good.
It's definitely one of my favorites. What were your thoughts on Bond and Natalia's chemistry?
Well, at the beginning felt kind of rushed that she got turned on after he talked about the bluff thing and after the other Bond villain was trying to hit on her when he had her hostage. It's like, has Bond got you yet? Yeah.
She tasted like strawberries, James.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I truly enjoyed their chemistry.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, better than the later ones that we will discuss.
yeah, and plus, I know your feelings that it felt a bit rushed.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think it developed.
Yeah.
It developed. They actually got to know each other a little bit before
Yeah.
it truly happened, compared to what we saw in Connery and Roger Moore.
Yeah. And the only thing was they don't really meet until like midway through the movie after the reveal of who the real villain.
Well, the first third.
Yeah, after they're both captured.
Well, yeah.
And he should have decided to get rid of the eject button.
Well, he wasn't thinking that Bond would have been able to reach that. He had tied both of them up. He thought he had figured this all out, but again, he's facing his equal here.
Yeah.
Both of them are facing their equals. They both are able to outsmart one another.
Yeah.
And think of ways out of situations.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was given a good amount of time.
Yeah.
You know, they actively got to know each other, went through more than one active threats and, you know, oh my God, this is crazy events before, you know, they start to become romantic.
Yeah.
So that's just me. But there are at least a couple of things I would consider as far as the bad.
Mm-hmm.
Why did Alec make Bond's escape so difficult in the cold open if he didn't want him to die? Alec had planned this whole out with Ormoff beforehand. Why did you make this so difficult for James to get out? Because he didn't want James to become a casualty. So why? That seems a bit counterproductive.
Yeah.
And also, despite how fantastic the theme song is, and also great to hear the classic theme song during the tank chase, some of the music choices during some parts of the film particularly the end credits. Not necessarily the best, because they had a whole different composer. His name escapes me. We'll show his name and picture here. Yeah, he wasn't the best pick. Yeah. I mean, your thoughts?
Well, I pretty much forgot about the composer and the music, so.
The end credit song isn't that good. But I guess getting to our scores. Yours?
I gave this a 9 out of 10.
Oh.
Yep. I say it's his best movie from the 4 that we go over. Pretty much, yeah.
For me, it's a 10 out of 10, man. A 9 out of 10. It's a 10 out of 10. This is one of the best James Bond films in the whole franchise. There are genuine arguments people have of what is the best Bond film. This one is in the conversation. It's like this one, Goldfinger, From Russia with Love, The Spy Who Loved Me, and Casino Royale.
Yeah.
That tend to be in the conversation of best Bond films. It is an important staple. If you want to know James Bond, this is one of the films to watch. Highly recommend it.
Yeah. But if you have your own opinion, go find us on Facebook, The Roll Screen Team. Where else?
You can also find us on Reddit, Instagram, and TikTok.
Make sure to like, comment on our videos. Give us some comments for the algorithm. Tell us your opinion on the movie. And share our videos and definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes, as we're on the road to 500.
Even if you hate subscribe, just still subscribe.
Yeah. Just no needless trolling.
Yeah.
You know, if you have constructive criticism, have at it.
Yeah. But before we go into, I say, one of my least favorite of the Bond movies.
It's very middle of the road for me.
Yeah.
We are going to discuss Pierce Brosnan's sequel,
Yeah.
Tomorrow Never Dies.
But when we're all set,
Well, sure. Well, thank you all for watching. Definitely come back and watch us again. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share, and click the post notification bell so you're updated with all of our upcoming videos. Well, cut, print, that's a wrap.